Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, April 16th, 2026. This is Truth News. I am Walter Bass. Tonight we are gonna touch base on Turning Point, Erica Kirk, and that cult, because that's what it is. It's well known by now. The investigations between Baron Coleman, Candace Owens, the behaviors, the public displays, just everything. And we're going to cover a few things. And this cult is a cult within a cult. If you haven't noticed, we have Congress, we have President, pedophile, First Lady, the world's most famous prostitute, Melania Trump. We have Hollywood, we have Turning Point, we have Oprah Winfrey. Cults. All of these people are obsessed with power and sex and greed and lust and deception and manipulation, and it's just disgusting. And they are all, just as I said yesterday, it's one giant organism of parasitic predators. The fingers, the toes, the hair, the feet, the calves, the knees, the shoulders, the arms are all members of the same body. And all of these people, from J.D. Vance to Donald Trump to Erica Kirk to most of our Congress, Mike Johnson, Lindsey Graham, all of them, Hollywood, Oprah Winfrey, the list goes on and on and on and on and on, and they're all connected to the same organism. But as always, let's pay homage to the people responsible for these YouTube videos that I make every single day, as it is day 1,680 since serial child killer State Judge Kelly Hansen kidnapped, violently sexually assaulted, and murdered my son. And we're going to pay homage to Kelly Hansen from Marietta, which is in Riverside County, California. We all know Riverside has been selling children from Riverside to Romania through Greg Laurie's Harvest Church for 20 years. Chad Bianco, the Sinaloa sheriff, or child sex trafficking Chad, as I call him, is part of the trifecta of terrorists, which is this guy, State Judge Kelly Hansen, as he enters his 17th year kidnapping, raping, murdering, torturing, and selling American children, all funded by the Sinaloa cartel. Riverside County is about 60 miles north of the Mexico border. And thanks to pay-to-play politics across the United States government, from the President of the United States and Qatar and the Middle East, giving him $400 million jets, to state judges and county sheriffs, taking money from the Sinaloa cartel to traffic children, guns, drugs, and launder their money. This has been going on. So there's State Judge Kelly Hansen. Let's pay homage to the Sinaloa Sheriff, child sex trafficking Chad. Everybody should know he's running for governor of California right now. Child sex trafficking Chad Bianco, who makes nearly $600,000 a year as a county sheriff, trafficking guns, children, drugs, and laundering money for the Sinaloa cartel, which is more than likely who's funding his gubernatorial campaign, is the Sinaloa cartel, because that would serve their interest greatly. Like Gavin Newsom, who's worth millions of dollars as a public servant, who's the nephew of Nancy Pelosi, who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars as a public servant. And we're going to show a picture of Mike Hestron, the district attorney for Riverside County, who decides who's prosecuted and who's not prosecuted for raping, murdering, torturing, abusing, and selling children. And that would be this terrorist right there. That man right there is a terrorist posing as an elected public servant of the United States of America, District Attorney for Riverside County, Mike Hestron. That's right, I've called his office for years, since 2021. Thursday, September 9th of 2021 is when this started, 1,680 days ago. And despite hundreds of thousands of emails, hundreds of thousands of phone calls, thousands of federal casework from when Kevin McCarthy was Speaker of the House, to Marjorie Taylor Greene, to Tim Burchett, Mike Johnson, Darrell Issa, Nancy Pelosi, Sarah Jacobs, the list, Lauren Boebert, the list goes on, and Mark Wayne Mullins, Tom Cole, James Langford, Tom Cotton. I have gone to Kennedy, Senator Kennedy, Corey Mills, which we all know Corey Mills is basically a scumbag. They're all scumbags, to be honest with you. But without further ado, should we pay homage to our predator in chief, the world's most famous child rapist? I think we should. I haven't given him a shout out in a few days, and I just want everyone to remember that you can now enjoy a fried baby flesh sandwich. That's right, the presidential combo, the McFetus sandwich. That's fried baby flesh between the buns of a fillet of fish with a large fry and a Diet Coke, $999.99 at participating locations. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. So, now that we've paid homage to all the people responsible for these videos because they rape, murder, and sell children and lie about it, and that's pretty much all any of them do is lie about everything they say. Turning Point USA. I find it ironic that it's called Turning Point because I don't think Turning Point turned the direction they thought it would when they assassinated Charlie Kirk. You see, they didn't think Charlie Kirk was the movement. They thought Charlie Kirk was just a mouthpiece, a face. They didn't realize Charlie Kirk's intelligence, his ability to communicate, his oratory skills, his integrity, his persona as a complete whole. Charlie Kirk, whether you liked him or disliked him, agreed with him or disagreed with him, was one of the most intelligent, well-spoken young men that has graced this country in a long time, to be honest with you. Charlie Kirk was one of a kind. There's not another Charlie Kirk. And I want to send a shout out to Candace Owens and Baron Coleman for staying on the assassination of Charlie Kirk for 7 months. The dedication, commitment, and hours of research and digging and investigating, because Charlie Kirk didn't deserve what he got. And what he got was betrayed and murdered by his own people because they didn't like that he had generated. Charlie Kirk had built Turning Point from nothing. He was Turning Point. He was the movement himself. His ability to speak, recall facts, quote Bible, and do it in a respectful manner. Even if he disagreed with you, he was respectful to your ideas and beliefs, and he would respectfully debate anyone. And that was his claim to fame, was to really just use freedom of speech going both directions. Bad, good, agree, disagree. Charlie Kirk encouraged freedom of speech and built an entire movement of millions of young people based on that. And when he decided that he wasn't going to go along to get along with the evil, demonic, child sex trafficking terrorists that were surrounding him, and when he started to wake up, because I know Charlie Kirk, because let me tell you, I was surrounded by a lot of horrible people at one time in my life. My wife, my closest friends that I thought were on my side, that I thought had my best interest at heart, that I thought cared about me. Turns out, no, I was just being used. I only served their means. And it was a brutal slap in the face and a brutal awakening when I found out the truth about people around me. And it broke me spiritually. It was devastating. And I believe Charlie Kirk was waking up to what was around him, who was around him. And when you have a movement of millions of young people across the entire country, and you have the ability to direct that movement to the direction of your choice, not your political backers, not your fundraisers, not your contributors, that freaked a lot of people out. That freaked a lot of his handlers out, a lot of the people who were pumping hundreds of millions of dollars into his movement. And when he said no to the money, they said no to him, and they murdered him. And that's pretty well established at this point. The motive is there. The lack of alibis are there. The behaviors after the fact, the money flowing in after the fact, just on and on. I mean, if we take a step back and let's just look at this from a factual standpoint. Charlie Kirk said no to at least $150 million. He said no. He was murdered shortly after saying no to $150 million. 72 hours after he was murdered, his wife took over his organization, his business. That same $150 million came right back in that he said no to. Just those facts alone right there are motive enough to definitely have Erica Kirk inside a police station detained, if not charged, especially for lack of alibi. We're going to go over like Blake Neff, Tyler Boyer, Andrew Colvett, Erica Kirk, J.D. Vance, Trump, Rob McCoy, Mikey McCoy. All of these people are part of the same cult. And I think it's pretty obvious. Just the fact that days after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, they're having this big festival or I don't know what you would call it, a celebration. It looked like a celebration. The pyrotechnics, the speakers with Trump and Vance and all of these people. Rob McCoy, Mikey McCoy, all of these people came out of nowhere. No one had ever heard of them. Erica Kirk wasn't hobnobbing with Donald Trump and J.D. Vance until after her husband was murdered. And it was, a week or two after her husband was murdered, all of a sudden, she's like BFFs with Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. I don't remember seeing any of this before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I don't remember seeing Erica Kirk in the White House on video at ceremonies in the White House. I don't remember seeing any of that until days or weeks after her husband was murdered. The fact that they're still, to this day, running Charlie Kirk's podcast with Charlie Kirk's name, and they're doing it with their own agenda, with their own messaging. They have completely abandoned Charlie Kirk's views, ideas, and everything he stood for. They completely abandoned all of that and are still using the platform that he built, the followers that he generated, and trying to influence them with their own agenda, which is evil, which is demonic. And we all know about Romanian angels, the military, her mom, the weapons contracts, the Defense Department. We all know it. The CIA videos, the music videos. We all know about this. Lie upon lie upon. Erica Kirk's entire existence is nothing but a house of lies. I mean, literally everything she's ever said. She didn't date. She didn't drink. All of this, lies. I mean, and it's documented on video. Grooming 15-year-old girls, that's documented on social media. This and they still say no, it's not happening. And just, the fact that the way she looks when she speaks about the Lord or Jesus or God, the look and energy and demeanor that comes over her is pure rebellion. Almost like it disgusts her to even mention Jesus Christ, our Lord, God or any of that. And that is a big tale to me. That is a major, major tale to me. And it should be to all of us. And, let's not forget that she kicked off her tour, the Make Heaven Crowded tour. Sounds like you want to murder a bunch of Christians to me. Make heaven crowded. Well, you got to die to go to heaven. And who is Turning Point USA to make heaven crowded? Are they going to do everyone like they did Charlie Kirk? You either agree and fall in line with this demonic satanic occult, or you get murdered. I mean, this has been a pattern of behavior with these people. And let's look, Greg Laurie Harvest Church, Riverside County, which is the last place I saw my child nearly 5 years ago. September of this year will be 5 years. And I haven't seen or heard from my child because Riverside County sells stolen children around the world. That's a fact. They sell them to Mexico. They sell them to Romania. Greg Laurie of Harvest Church is being sued for 20 years of selling children in Romania. Documented. There's an ongoing lawsuit right now. And I can't get any justice. I can't get any help. I can't get any truth. I can't get anything. Because you stand up to people who rape, murder, and sell children. And because these people are, multimillionaires involved in shady nonprofits, or have government positions, or state judges, or county sheriffs, or U.S. attorneys, or governors, or congresswomen, or men, or senators, they feel like they don't have to abide by truth and justice. And who are you to care about children in the United States of America? Who are you to care about your own child when the government needs to make money? Who are you to tell the truth on Erica Kirk when she's trying to influence high schools all in Arkansas, colleges all across America? Who are you to tell the truth? That's their perception. Who is Candace Owens to do all this research, homework, go on YouTube with her 6 million followers and tell the truth? The audacity. While they're trying to rape, murder, and sell children, traffic guns. This is all documented. Stacey Sheridan, Ben Shapiro. These are the new Turning Point. Ben Shapiro. I want you to think about that for a minute. Ben Shapiro, who has gone after Candace Owens for years because he can't control her, because she won't submit to his will. Candace Owens is a highly intelligent, just courageous woman who will not be controlled or dominated or told what to do by anyone. That's the facts. That's the truth. And they hate that. They hate it. That's the same reason they hate me. Because I send emails every day. I make phone calls every day. I tell the truth, the ugly truth, disgusting truth about all of them. And I don't care. I don't care if they want to kill me. I don't care if they want to falsify my background, make me live in a car for 3 years. I've already done all that. I don't care if they want to lie and tell the whole world I've done all these outrageous, horrendous things, lies. Because that's the first thing they do is character assassination. First thing they do to anyone is character assassination, so no one will believe you. And this is, you can go back. There's a movie called Enemy of the State with Gene Hackman and Will Smith. And this movie was made in I believe, 1996. And Will Smith was a prominent lawyer in, I believe, Washington, D.C., and he came across some evidence of a senator directing a hit on someone, a murder. And Will Smith came across the video of it, and because the intelligence agencies knew that he had the video, the first thing they did was smear him, say he was cheating on his wife, he was an adulterer, and all this stuff. And it's character assassination. That's how they keep people from believing the truth, is they assassinate the character of the person who's telling the truth by calling them a nut job, calling them crazy. Me, they put me on 3 different mental health holds to try to discredit me. 3 times. Hold me for 3 days, let me go. Why? Because State Judge Kelly Hansen has been selling, raping, murdering, and torturing children for 17 years as a state judge, aided and abetted by Sheriff Chad Bianco, District Attorney Mike Hester in the city of Marietta, and unmarked of Project Touch. Get it? Project Touch. Get it? They murdered their own movement, Turning Point USA. When they murdered Charlie Kirk, they murdered their own movement. They destroyed it. The whole premise, the whole foundation was Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was the centerpiece. Without him, there is no movement. There is no turning point. They thought they could just take everything he did, everything he worked for all those years, all the debates, all the videos, all of the public relations. They thought they could just take that, get rid of Charlie Kirk, and continue on without him. It doesn't work like that. That's not how it works. It's never worked like that. So these people are psychopathic sexual miscreants. They are psychopathic sexual miscreants, sexual deviants. I'm talking, this is infested our government, top to bottom, inside out. Congress, the Oval Office, churches. How many of these pastors are being charged with sex crimes against children, trafficking children? How many Catholic priests are charged with molesting boys? Mormons. The sexual deviancy, the sexual just evil has consumed our country. And it's been perpetuated by OnlyFans, Pornhub, Brazzers, all of these porn sites, the Hollywood. All of these people keep perpetuating sexuality so everyone will try to join their little sex cult. I'm not doing it. Now, I think a lot of people are done with this nastiness. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Butch Hibbs. Where is Butch Hibbs? Has anyone seen or heard from him since the day he took a picture with Charlie Kirk, the same day he was murdered? He lingered around the crime scene for hours after. Where's Butch Hibbs? What's he doing? He just shows up, a guy gets murdered, and he disappears? No one thinks that's suspicious? I send these links to Candace and Barron, and I don't know if they watch them or not. I send it to a lot of people, media people, Whitney Webb, Coach Colin. I send these links to congressmen, senators, law enforcement from Oklahoma to California. Candace, Barron, if you're listening, can we find out where Butch Hibbs is? Can we put an APB on Butch Hibbs? What's he been doing since Charlie Kirk was murdered the day he showed up there? Does anyone know where Erica Kirk was when Charlie was assassinated yet? Have we pinned down an alibi? Your husband was murdered and you profited hundreds of millions of dollars days after his murder. Where were you? Where were you? Fort Huachuca? This is why I'm doing all this show on TPUSA and Erica Kirk. And it's because she tried to say she couldn't attend in Athens, Georgia at the college. She couldn't attend her own event because of security threats. But yet the Vice President of the United States of America was able to attend that event, and Andrew Colvett was able to attend that event, but not Erica Kirk because of threats. How is Erica Kirk more threatened and can't be protected by the same protection that the Vice President of the United States has? If the Secret Service are protecting J.D. Vance at this event, they couldn't protect Erica Kirk. And why is she getting threats and not J.D. Vance? And why was Andrew Colvett allowed to go but not Erica Kirk? I'll tell you why. Shame and humiliation. That's why. Shame, humiliation, embarrassment. She has nothing to offer anyone. She is just like Melania Trump. She is just like a lot of these other just bimbo floozies. They've gotten by on a smile, some winks, and some hee-hees and ha-has, and laid down and spread their legs. That is all they've done to get where they are. Melania Trump, that's all you've done. Hee, ha ha, smile, spread your legs. That's all you've done. Erica Kirk, same thing. Hee, ha ha, smile, spread your legs. That's how you get what you want. This is a Jezebel. This is a harlot. This is documented all throughout the Bible, and it's the truth. And before we go, we're at the 25-minute mark. I want to try to pull up this clip from Political Punk. And I saved this clip yesterday. And I want to try to find the right section. I'm just running off a tablet and a camera. I have my phone. I'm trying to get equipment together to give a proper
I'm standing
podcast.
in front of a public school, which is just turned into a refuge for children.
I'm trying to get the interface and a laptop and some things together to give a proper podcast. But I wanted to show this clip of what J.D. Vance said.
Staying in your own lane.
Right
boss.
here.
Dude, I don't even know who he is, but he has a serious issue with Candace Owens. Like, Candace, it's something about him, dude. He is like banging two Bibles together over fucking Candace. Oh. Isn't it wild? Let's see, JD.
Who shot Charlie Kirk, but if your instinct is to go after a young mother because she's grieving in a way that you find you find wrong, well, why don't you stay in your lane and mind your own business?
Yeah, amen.
Grief is complicated, and I just...
You know, a national treasure was assassinated in front of the world, and his wife profited $150 million within days, and she's coming out to pyrotechnics doing book tours and talk show tours. No, we're not going to stay in our lane and mind our own business. You're basically saying shut up about Charlie Kirk being murdered and you thinking Erica Kirk had something to do with it because she gained hundreds of millions of dollars and took over his business hours after he was dead. Hours. His body wasn't even cold yet. And she's talking about merch, hat sales, events, book tours, talk show tours. No, I don't think so. And if I was Candace Owens, I didn't even personally know Charlie Kirk. I'd never met Charlie Kirk in my life. I watched a lot of his videos. I watched a lot of his content. I admired and respected him as a human being, as a Christian, as a man. I had a lot of admiration and respect for Charlie Kirk. And it infuriates me for for J.D. Vance to say that about Charlie Kirk. Shut up and stay in your own lane. Stop coming after a young mother. Maybe she shouldn't have played a role in the murder of her own husband to financially profit. Maybe then we would stay in our own. Why don't she stay away from cameras? Why don't she stay away from high schools? Why don't she stay away from children and colleges? Why don't she stay away from child sex traffickers? And then we'll stay in our own lane. Why don't you stay away from preying on people and being a predator and running to a camera and a microphone to tell everybody what a great human being you are while you're nothing but a human and child trafficker, a gun trafficker, a money launderer, a con artist, a grifter, a scumbag, and we'll gladly stay in our own lane. How about you conduct yourself like a human being and we'll stop expecting you to behave like a human being? How about that? How about that? And like I was saying, if I was Candace Owens, I would be infuriated with J.D. Vance telling her to stay in her own lane, leave Erica alone. I don't think so. That was Candace Owens' really good friend. Really good friend. They had been through a lot together. They had traveled the country together. They had spoke together. They had built Turning Point together. She was a key part of that. And now they want to call her demon possessed and crazy. And Candace, if you're listening, if you get this and you watch this, they called Jesus Christ demon possessed. They called John the Baptist demon possessed. They called Paul the Apostle demon possessed and crazy. And they've said the same thing about me for years. FBI said it, local law enforcement, Oklahoma City intelligence, politicians, Capitol Hill police intelligence, Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police. Every time they call me crazy, demon possessed, I take it as a compliment because you're putting me in good company. You're putting me right up there with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because all he did was tell the truth. That's all Jesus did, was tell the truth. And to this day, he still hated. Still, 2,000 years later, most people hate Jesus, and I can't figure out why. I don't know why. What did he do? Tell the truth? Try to make the world a better place? And with that, we're at the 30-minute mark. I'm going to close with a Bible verse. And we're going to close with 1 Corinthians 12. And I'm going to read an excerpt, a little paragraph. And it's about the use of spiritual gifts, because this is intuition and discernment. Like Candace always says, we don't know, but we know. We know. Everybody knows. The whole world knows. Iran knows. The Lego videos they're making. Everybody knows. When are you idiots going to stop trying to pull it? Like Candace says, this is exhausting. Your ignorance is exhausting. It really is. 1 Corinthians 12. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I do not want you to be unaware. You know that when you were pagans, you were led astray to mute idols. However you were led, mute idols. That's money, that's gold, that's silver. That's these weapons right here, these psychological weapons, mute idols. I made known to you that no one speaking by the Spirit of God says Jesus is accursed. And no one can say Jesus is Lord except by the Holy Spirit. See, God chooses people. And I didn't choose this. I don't enjoy sitting here, coming home from work, making YouTube videos, doing research, taking notes every single day. I don't enjoy this. I'd rather be at the park with my son playing catch, playing basketball, going camping, going fishing. I'd rather be doing things with my child. But because my government stole, molested, and murdered my child, this is what they forced me to do. Because they don't even want to acknowledge what they did to my child. Imagine someone kidnapping, sexually assaulting, and murdering your child, and then telling you you're crazy for saying something about it. That's what I've endured for 1,680 days. That's why I make these YouTube videos. That's why I send emails every day. That's why I do federal casework every single day. 1,680 days. And I'm prepared to go until my dying breath doing this. 25 years, 35 years, 50 years, however long it takes. I'm not going to shut up, and I'm not going to go away until I get my child's teeth, toenails, fingernails, and hair back that I was told in 2024 by Capitol Police Intelligence that my son was dead to stop calling them. And until I get the remnants of my murdered child back from the United States government, I will persist and I will endure whatever it takes. Now, there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are varieties of ministries, and the same Lord. There are varieties of effects, but the same God who works all things in all persons. But to each one is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good. For to one is given the word of wisdom through the Spirit, and to another the word of knowledge according to the same Spirit. You see, the Candace Owens and the Baron Colemans and the Ian Carrolls, I don't know if they know it, but they're called by God to do this. They're not doing this because it's fun. They're not doing this because they need money. Candace Owens is married to a multimillionaire. He is royalty from the UK. She doesn't need money. Candace Owens doesn't need money. She's not doing this for money. She could care less. She's doing this out of care, compassion, integrity, and morals and values. And I believe she has been called by God to do this. She has done this for months. She's been doing this for years with Bridget Macron, Charlie Kirk, and others. And Baron Coleman. He's an attorney, successful attorney, was an attorney for many years. I'm sure he don't need money. I'm sure he's got some investments. He owns his home. Most of his children are grown, I believe. I'm sure he still's got some little ones in the house. But I digress. to another faith by the same Spirit, and to another gifts of healing by the one Spirit, and to another the effecting of miracles, and to another prophecy, and to another distinguishing of spirits, to another various kinds of tongues, and to another the interpretations of tongues. See, this is what Candace does. She interprets, she discerns, she uses her intuition to read between the lines, to see the energy, to see how their body and their mannerisms, which cannot be hidden. You can't hide who you really are. You can sit there and say you're not an alcoholic, but your body is going to show all the signs and symptoms of being an alcoholic. You can say you're not a crackhead all day long. You can sit there and scream it to the highest mountaintop, and your body and mannerisms are going to show the signs and symptoms of you being a crackhead. And if you are a lying, trafficking, murdering scumbag, you cannot hide that. So ladies and gentlemen, I went a little over tonight, 36 minutes. I apologize. I try to keep these at 30. As always, I thank you for your time, your attention. I ask that you please like, share, subscribe to this channel. We're pretty primitive. As time goes on, I will get more equipment, and I will be able to share things on the screen and have a laptop and a microphone. We will get there. I will do this until my dying breath, until my son comes home. Thank you, everyone. We will see you tomorrow.